Alrighty guys, we are starting this episode off by showing you what I did for this shop. Now I have been saying that slowly but surely we'll be adding a couple more shops over here in the shopping district, and we finally came up with a design that I like. I kept with like the same neoclassical vibe that I'm going to be keeping for all of these shops, especially with the roof. Now it is more of a simpler roof than this, but it's just for distinction's sake. I want everything to kind of be its own building, you know. Even with the strip that is going in this long square right here, or rectangle, I do want all of the buildings to be distinct and unique. Now if you're going to free cam, I can show you a little bit of these details. With the windows, I kept them fairly simple, but we went with the walls just for that little bit of indentation that you get with it. And then I think this is light blue stained glass, just for a little bit of color. It also gives it like a more animated window look, like a cartoon. And I kind of like that, especially with the darker green up here, kind of contrasts well. And then speaking of contrast, we do have the red down here, matching with the mangrove trapdoors for the red. And then, of course, the little pinks and blues that we got right here. Everything kind of just flows together, I feel like. And then with the top of the roof, we did put these little walls and the buttons, kind of like how we did right here, just not with the buttons right here. And coming over here, I do like this painting. Now it does kind of act like a sign for the shop, but it could also be graffiti, could also be a painting just on the outside of the wall. Anything your heart desires, that's why I put it there, but it indicates something is going on in here with the little spruce button frame going on. And then of course we do have the red going on right here as well, a little bit of the blue door action. And then anytime I don't know what to call these things, I just put this. I think of it like Simlish. If you ever played Sims, that's kind of what they speak. I'm pretty sure it's called Simlish, and I think this is what it is. So I just put this anytime I don't really know what to name these shops. But kind of the same windows, same little planar vibes and everything. Then if we go to the back, I kept it fairly simple because since this is a little bit more detailed, I did keep this one simple because I don't always think you need decoration on every single wall. I do think a flat wall is necessary here and there, especially in the back where nobody's really going to see it. But I do absolutely love the way this came out. I like the color scheme we went with. It kind of stands alone against all the like neutral brownish colors that we have here. But it also contrasts well with the pinkish and the white colors we have right here, especially with the diorite. And I feel like since I'm making everything unique and distinct, I can definitely get away with just grabbing a couple colors here and there, adding it in here, just so it does kind of blend in a little bit well. Going on inside though, we do have the interior setup. Now this is where I'll be keeping my sugarcane. I brought everything in here already. This is a cool little like painting idea I've been doing, just framing it off in certain ways. It just adds a little bit more of an edge to it, kind of like it's framed. Now I wish we had an option for paintings for it to be a little bit thicker, because you see how thin this is? I wish we had paintings that had a border. So this is kind of the only way you can do that for now. Hopefully in the future they can add something like that. I'm sure there's a mod that adds something like that, but I do want to keep this as vanilla as possible. Now I do have a couple mods and resources packs, but you know, I do want to keep it as vanilla as possible. So if there is one, maybe I'll look into it, maybe I don't. Now we do have a little station over here where you buy everything, and we do have a station over here where you can like look through everything. And then a couple signs, same thing with the Simlish. And then we got a sold out sign with the item frame being empty. And then over here we have the sugarcane in the item frame. Little table action. And then over here we do have like the bushes and stuff growing on the inside, a couple paintings, a little bit of storage. I feel like this is definitely going to be enough for us because I've been saving this up for a while now. Every now and then I'll just go and grab some more and put it in here. And I'm still not even a double chest full. So I should be pretty good on this for quite a long time. Of course, just changing up the way the chests sit just for a little bit of distinction, because you do have this little iron thing, and if it's in the back, it just adds like a little bit more detail, because it's not just the same chest over and over again. Now coming on in here is basically the same setup, but just flipped around a little bit. This is where I'll be keeping my bamboo. This painting I absolutely love. Honestly, I kind of want this in like a house, like my house in real life, because it would be super cool to have. So I need to look into who the artist is of this and like get the actual painting, because look how cool that is. Now I'm pretty sure that was a new one that came out with a new update, and I really like it a lot, and I kind of want it like ASAP. Now this is where I'll be keeping the bamboo, and yeah, right here. And then of course we got the blocks going and everything. Now we did do the frame buttons right here again, like on the outside, just to separate from the trapdoor ones that are in there. And then the same thing going on over here. Now the way obviously the bamboo can grow on its own, but the way I did these, this is two different buildings. So of course you have two walls, and I could break this behind there, add water, and then the dirt, just in case you were wondering how sugarcane is grown in here. But I really like the way these came out. I'm excited that I finally have space for sugarcane and bamboo, because I'm tired of just running to the farm over and over again anytime I need it. I need to go to sleep real quick. Now I did mark it out with streets where a couple buildings can go. Obviously a couple buildings right here, a little strip mall right here, things like that. And then I do want to park over here just for people to hang out if they're not shopping, or like say you just don't like, you're hanging out with people that want to shop and you don't, you can just go to the park and hang out as they're shopping, you know? Kind of like, you can kind of think of it like a courtyard in a mall, you know? There's always those seats, always those massaging seats and everything. But with these roads being right here, I can always tear it up and redo them if I don't like the way these shops are turning out. Like if I need somewhere to be bigger or smaller, I can always tear them up. Now coming on down here, I did go along this whole coast and add the mud with some grass, just to kind of blend it into the seagrass down here a little bit more, make it more muddier and dirtier. But I did finally add these rows of wheat I was talking about. If you look up on the map, you can see that it's a little bit striping. It's taken forever to kind of get all the way to wheat. As you can see, it's kind of a cool little gradient right now, actually, into the yellow. But I did add it in, and that yellow is actually some sunflower fields. And I kept little strips of coarse dirt, a little bit of rooted dirt every now and then, going across, just in case you want to walk through the sunflower fields. And I think it's a nice little touch, because at first, since the very beginning, I wanted this all to be wheat, but then I was like, well, I mean, all of this is a lot of wheat, and I kind of wanted it to be a little bit different, so I went with the sunflowers. And we had all these sunflowers from a sunflower field we found forever ago. I'm saying sunflower a lot, maybe I need to move on. But I do like the way this turned out, and I'm thinking we could actually extend a little bit more fields over on this direction. Now last episode we did add a couple of farms. This episode we did not add any farms, because I am tired of building farms for right now. But it has been a while since my last episode, and that is because I have actually been sick for quite a while. And the design that we did today for the town hall, which will be the main building that we build today, actually took quite a long time to design. I built probably about 50% all the way up of like 3 different designs, which took obviously a while, and I didn't like them. Started over, didn't like it. Started over, etc., etc. So I finally found a design that I actually built and liked. And of course, like I said last episode, I want every build that I do from now on to kind of like test my building ability and see what I can get better on. And this definitely did. Especially with how many mock-ups I came up with. I just didn't really like anything I was coming up with that kind of fit the vibe of the chapel and the greenhouse that we did build in last episode, because they're just like heavily detailed, and I really loved the way they came out. So I wanted the town hall, since it is going to be sitting right next to it on a different section, I did want it to be a little bit not the same style, but also when you see all 3 of them together, you're like, yes, that was built by one person. Now, of course, my building style is definitely coming in through like the shops and the chapel, like I said, but I think this town hall is definitely like a good showcase of what my building style is and what it can be in the future for all of these builds coming up. But I do have a lot of material grinding to do real quick. I'm pretty sure I have all of the wood that I need. This is all of the detail blocks that I used for the shops. But I do have all the wood that I need. I'm pretty sure I just need to strip them all. Okay, maybe not. I actually... Yeah, I'm gonna have to get maybe a couple more stacks. Maybe, actually, I think there's gonna be the whole row. I think there's like 22 stacks of stripped birch logs. So the stripping is going to take forever and it's going to destroy my axe. But, you know, it's all in good fun. So I do need to go get quite a bit more logs and everything. And then quite a bit more tough, because I am going to be using a lot of tough today, and then diorite as well. So I could go get everything into that. But I do want to jump into this build pretty early on into the episode. So let me go ahead and get these materials, and honestly, let's just jump on into the build. But, little announcement. My friend has actually been, hold on, let me make this a little more cinematic for you. Now, my friend, where's my zoom? Where's my zoom? Okay, there we go. My friend has been learning how to mod. Best friend, in fact, and he learned how to mod because I always wanted a mod that added civilians to the place. Now, since we're building a city, I wanted people walking around not like villagers. Villagers, yes, they have distinctions. Each one looks a little bit different, but they all have the same model. They all have the same face, and I wanted something different to where I could customize it the way I want. Well, he learned how to... That was the most southern well I've ever said in my life. Well, anyways, he learned how to mod for me, and grueling hours put into it. He put so much work into it, and it'll be linked into the description of this video and every video from here on out, because he absolutely deserves it. And I'm so excited for you guys to see this because it is absolutely exceptional. The mod is everything we could have like ever dreamed of. I'm sure the satisfaction he gets out of it, actually building something for a game that you can actually play yourself and is running smoothly and everything, I'm sure he feels pretty well about himself. But there's different things you could do with him, of course. Now, let's get into this build. I am introducing the town hall. So Silverport finally has a town hall, and I think it's long overdue, and I'm super excited to get into this. So here's the hall. In the heart of the village, where the cobblestone paths converge and stories linger like echoes on the wind, stands the town hall. A symbol of unity crafted not just from timber and stone, but from the hopes and hands of those who call this place home. Its walls, strong and steady, hold more than just the structure. They hold the decisions made under lantern light, forces woven together in harmony, and the quiet resilience of community growing with each passing season. And just like that, guys, we are all done with this build. As you can see, it's pretty big. It's not as tall, like verticality rise, as the chapel, but it is wider than the greenhouse, and the greenhouse took forever, so of course this took absolutely a long time. But I'm so happy with the outcome of it, because it did, like I said earlier, it did take a while to design, and I went through multiple phases of it. But I think this fully encapsulates the way I want these buildings to look, of course. And I think this is honestly, my visual depiction of my building style from here on out, because I'm just in awe at myself. Not to overglaze, not to overglaze myself. I'm a humble person over here, but I might be the best to ever touch this game. Moving on, all jokes aside, let's do a little free cam action and we can see what we got going on in here. Now, this right here, I think it's about 2 layers, maybe 3 layers of glass. And even on the inside, you do have like the little light gray stained glass panes to kind of cast that little shadow going down. But I kept with the regular glass panes, with the black stained glass panes going along for like a little border? A little border effect going on in the windows itself with the little lines of the fences. So if you go back, it does add like the cool little fenced in lines, of course, for like a little frame action going on. And as you can see, I did keep with the diorite to kind of blend in. Just picking and choosing what colors I do want. Now, it does have a lot of birch. This is what I needed the birch for. But with that new shop, it really does blend in quite well, especially flying in, seeing all of these shrines, and then of course a little bit of like birch that you get down there. Now going across, we do have these little lampposts that is going along all the way to the backside here. The backside is the same as the front because it is a more of a regal like building. So of course it's gonna have a lot of like symmetrical shapes and just symmetry going along in general. You know, it's a Capitol building, and I really think that adds a lot to it. We do have this little front balcony, of course the back balcony on the other side. Now, I don't have anything going on in the inside, so I don't have anything to access it up there, and it is in a like an awkward spot for a staircase, so it is going to be a little tricky to kind of figure out how we're going to have like access to this spot up here. Now, the interior, I have no clue what I'm going to do. I have no concept of what I'm going to do, so there's not going to be an interior for this episode. Maybe not even next. I'm not quite sure yet, just because I know it's going to take a while to design something I really, really love, because I have all the room I need to do something really cool and detailed in here. Now with these windows, I did add this little brown. So the top is deep slate, mud brick into the diorite. And from afar, of course, I think the brown kind of gives it like a draped effect. Like, so when you put banners, of course, the entities and they go away. So you can do banners like I did like right there, but as you can see, they load in and you don't even have to be far for it to disappear, and I really don't like that. So when we're over here, we can see it. Even the signs disappear, you know, so I try to stay away from stuff that will disappear while also, okay, there's the shop, while also keeping the level of detail that I wanted, so you can see. So like the brown is symbolizing drapes going down, and then the white is the actual like window frame, you know? And then of course we got the buttons just for a little bit of detail. I don't really think overdoing buttons is a good thing, except for bigger builds, because sometimes it just looks plain without them. So I always like to add them. And then of course you can add like little slits with like stairs and everything, just to kind of give it a little bit more of a depth effect. And then of course we got the little double layers for the trim going all the way along. And then to the side is kind of the same, but the windows are changed a little bit. Got longer vertical windows, of course, compared to these wider, shorter ones. And then we got the bigger windows on the side compared to these like longer, skinny ones. Now with these fence gates, it does add that little trimmed effect without the use of like the fences. And then we got these little almost like a grate, I guess. I don't know what you would really call this, but it does add like a little cool like stripy effect that you can get, especially when you have like the darker wood behind there, and then like a lighter wood. It casts like a little shadow for you. But like I said before, this is probably my favorite build I've ever done in this world. Last time it was the chapel. This time I think I outdid myself, because not only the chapel is I feel like it's easier to get away with it looking cool because it has such like striking shapes and details that you can do, like especially with these sharp like towers going up and like this cross with floating candles, and then of course you got the dragon egg up there, and it's so tall and lanky, and like everything is just very striking about it. But with a more regal, more Capitol building, it's hard to keep that feeling, because of obviously it needs to be one big rectangle, one tall building, and everything has to look the same, but also grand and also beautiful, you know. And I really wanted to dive into that concept of it, and I think I absolutely nailed what I was wanting to do. Going on to the roof, it is pretty simple, fairly simple, I would say. Now, I did texture up just a little bit, mostly for the map's sake, you know, just so it's not one big square of gray. Now, the map does look really cool. Like, that looks like one big ruins almost. It doesn't even really look like a capital tree. And look how creepy this tree is right here, bro. Like, that looks like a dead spotter, and I really don't like it. Anyways, moving on. This looks really cool on the map, and I like the way it came out. Now, I'm not quite sure what I want for the other, like, regal buildings up here, since we do have a town hall now. Town hall was the main building of this place anyways. So sooner or later, we could come up with a few more ideas. If y'all have ideas for this like grander district up here, go ahead and tell me everything. Ideas are always welcome in this place, because this city is going to be pretty big, you know, and we could always extend it out. We can extend it out that way sooner or later, I really don't want to because it's gonna take forever. But this snow has got to go, man. Unless we just have one big freeze, we just dedicate an episode. Say we incorporate the snow into the lore. Say there was a big snowstorm that was brewing up for thousands of years and it finally hit, and then we could just like place snow everywhere. I feel like placing snow would be easier than getting rid of all the snow and then placing grass everywhere. Anyways, I really don't like the way it looks because obviously you have this big snow, but then you have all these crops and flower fields and like all those cornflower fields right here for the Cyclops that we built not too long ago. But with this building done, we can finally incorporate that mod and we can have people coming in and out and walking around the city and everything. And now with the town hall built and the new shop up and standing, I do think it is time to call this episode. Now I did a whole bunch of yapping and a whole bunch of building in this, and I kind of just jumped straight into things, and it wasn't much Minecraft going on besides the building part. But I really just needed to get this episode out because it has been quite a while since my last one, and I was excited to post this one. Just remember that you are loved, I love you, and peace out.